Hello, welcome to my channel. This is the first episode that I'm filming in this year, and I was hoping to start an episode in the new year by saying Happy New Year to you all, but it's kind of strange to wish anyone Happy New Year at the beginning of March. The thing is that the first episode that I filmed in January had such bad lighting that I had completely to discard that footage because the lights were so bad that the colors were not showing properly. And yeah, it's a sad thing because what's the point of showing what you have made if the colors of the garment are completely off? The second footage I tried to make did not have a good audio. There were some disruptions in the footage, so I had to discard that one as well. And then I was practically waiting for the better lighting because we had such a bad weather. It was dark and gloomy, and this is actually a disadvantage of living in a semi-detached house because the light just from the two sides of the house, while on the sides you have your neighbors and there are no windows. And when the lights were better, I ended up in hospital. I spent 6 days in hospital, was very sick. I'll tell you at the end what happened to me if you're interested. And then the wars in Ukraine started, and I was so anxious watching all these terrible news, so I had absolutely no motivation in such a situation to film anything. But today I decided, okay, I have finished something yesterday, so I wanted to show you. And this elephant in the room, you see, it has the same edge on the sleeves on the bottom. It is the pattern I've been working on for the last couple of months, maybe even 3 months. It's by Jenn Steingass called Vintersol. It's made of Holst Supersoft. It's 100% wool, and it's very thin yarn, but I held it double. And I used, I think this lighter colors is Oatmeal, the darker one is Oxford, and these two, if you can see, it has this marled effect because it is those are two colors, one is Topaz and one is Robin's Egg. And what I like about Holst yarns is that combine, there are many colors and you can combine the two of them to create these marled effects. And I particularly like the colors which are not very uniform, which have some depth and variegation to it, so it makes it all more interesting. And you see the cuffs have also this pattern. I actually tried to knit to finish this in the hospital. It took me because of two factors. The first one is that I used interchangeable needles. Those were from Knit Pro. I like them very much when I ordered them because they are special. This limited special edition denim color, very nice dark blue green color, and they are very smooth. It makes your knitting quick. But since they are interchangeable, they kept on unwinding all the time. So every 10 or to 15 stitches, I had to wind back the needle. Otherwise, it happened to me also a couple of times, especially on this colorwork yoke, that the needles disconnected. I have something on my glasses that's bothering me. The needles disconnected and it's a mess if it's you have 4 strands of yarns, and then sometimes in these joints the yarn come under, so it was really annoying, and it has slowed me down considerably. The second thing is, of course, this illness that I had. And I actually tried to knit in the hospital as well, and I asked my daughter to send me, no, there were no visitors allowed, except if they had a positive COVID, if they have, of course, a negative COVID test, and if they are vaccinated. So if your family wants to leave anything for you, they have to just leave it at the entrance, and some of the nurses picks it up. So I had my daughter packed me also my knitting, and when I realized that I can't really knit because I had a needle right here, and when I had to bend my arms to knit, the needle would stuck deeply into my veins, and it hurt me a lot, so I couldn't knit, and that was really sad for me. It's not just that I was really ill, but the saddest point was that I couldn't knit for the whole 6 days that I was lying there. So for me it was completely time wasted. And yeah, this was the two things that slowed me down considerably, and I don't think I will ever use those needles again. I think I will use them as spare needles, especially if I'm doing a color work, if I'm doing if I knit in the round, and if I want to try something on, then I will use them just as a spare needle, or to extend the circumference so that I can try these things on. And yeah, but otherwise, this is a special kind of yarn which softens up a lot after you wash it. And it was quite coarse when I finished it, and I was kind of, I'm not the most sensitive person, but I like to wear things which are softer on my skin, nicer on my skin. So whenever I choose what to wear, I tend to pick up things that feel, of course, nicer to the skin, despite the fact that I can also wear like rustic wool, but of course I prefer to wear something softer. And it's okay. I mean, it's called super soft. It's not their softest yarn though, but it's fine. It's fine. I have a t-shirt beneath, but a short sleeve t-shirt, but it doesn't really bother me. So yes, this is what I finished the day before yesterday, and I really like this. This pattern here reminds me of pine trees in a snowy, frosty, wintry landscape. It looks like a sweater that someone would wear on a skiing trip, but I don't go skiing. And yes, the other thing that I finished this one before, but I still consider it kind of work in progress because there's something more I want to add to this, is this one. Let's see. This one from brushed alpaca silk, one strand from Drops, and the other yarn was similar to this. It's ice acrylic, 60% acrylic, no, 60% wool, 40% acrylic, but this one has a strand of gray in it. I knitted mine with a strand of beige. It's not gray, but it's very similar one to this, and it's quite nice. It's soft. It was a very quick knit because I made it with 5.5 millimeter needles, and I made large sleeves, a bit too large. If I would to do it second time, I would ended up my raglan increases here. If you hear a noise, it's my dog on the floor. I would end up here and make sleeves more narrow because they're a bit too wide, but it's quite cozy if you're at home. It's nothing, you know, prevents you from moving in all directions. I also embroidered these flowers in a variegated yarn. This is my own pattern, and what I did, I made a provisional cast on here because I didn't know at that time when I started it how I would like the neckline to look like. So I made a provisional cast on with some scrap yarn, made these increases, made this raglan increase here, this stripe quite wide. I don't know why but I thought it was a good idea. What I also did, I ended up this cute little tag here, which says handmade with love. And what I want to do also, I want to add some pearls, but I haven't been able to find in my crafty stash pearls through which I could thread a needle, because the holes are too narrow. So I have to order or buy other pearls. But yeah, this is quite a cozy wintry sweater. I think it would be a little bit too warm for this now. And yeah, what I forgot to say about Vintersol. This is I made it with 4.5 millimeter needles, and I took the size which is number 5. And what I want to show you, just give me a second. I showed it already. I already made the same pattern, but this is a child size. I would say it's extra small. This is made with 4 millimeter needles and size, I think, 4. So going one size up and half a size in needle size, I managed to get a quite comfortable size large. I wear size large normally. And the other thing, lessons learned from this one is, and as you can see, I have a turtleneck here. Made a turtleneck because I wanted to make it for my children. When I realized that it's too small for me, I wanted to make it for my daughter, but sadly she just wore it just once or twice, and when I begged her practically, because she's too hot, she wears short sleeves even in full winter, and says it's too warm for her and she doesn't want to wear it. The other one didn't like it at first place. So my children are not very knit worthy. They don't like knitted items. They wear hoodies and, I don't know, very cropped hoodies to school, but we don't live in a very cold climate anyway, so okay. I would like to knit more for them, but what can you do if they don't want to wear it? So yeah, these were the lessons learned. From this one, I didn't size the needles up when I made the yoke, but here I went half a size up on the yoke, and it was much better. So you practically don't see the change, but here you see that the yoke is a little bit tight. This is also Holst Supersoft, and the colors here are, the sun is coming up, cranberry and plum, and it's also this marled variegated effect. So yeah, this is Vintersol by Jenn Steingass, and I'm currently working on one of her newest patterns. It is called Avena. But this time I also used Holst, but 50% wool and 50% cotton. It's much softer than Supersoft, despite the Supersoft called Supersoft and it's 100% wool. This one is very soft, and I think it will be more suitable for warmer weather. So for spring, I'm not sure whether I'm going to make full-length sleeves or not. And here I'm stockinette. I used different colors here. This is dark blue, then some greens, lighter greens, and yellows. Yeah, and I love it. This white is called Ecru. It's not fully white, it's more like fish white. At first I didn't like it, but I think it's okay now. I think it will be fine. I love it. I love it. I tried it on already. It fits. It's beautiful. I know I'm going to wear this one a lot. And what else I did this time? I make some mending. So I have this pair of trousers which I wear all the time, especially now that we are in the home office. So when I go in the morning with my dog, I just put these pants on, these jeans, and you know, they are quite worn out now and got a hole on my knee. And you know, I know it's quite popular these days to wear holes in your trousers. I'm kind of, I belong to that generation which didn't wear holes in clothes. You know, people who wore clothes, who wore holes in the clothing back when I was young were considered very poor. So it's actually quite sad because I used to buy a pair of jeans that fitted me well because I was skinny at that time, and the only brand that fit me well was Big Star. I don't know if it rings a bell to anybody, but that was quite a skinny type of jeans, but with straight legs, and it didn't have any stretch in it, so it used to tear quite soon. I mean, I just wore it a couple of months and then the holes would appear. And then I would just either cut it to make a short pants for summer, or I would just throw them away, which is quite a sad thing because they were quite expensive. So I had to buy them more often. But if with my today's brain, I would just mend them. So in the same way, like I mended these, I tried some sashiko Japanese style mending, and if you can see, the hole was here in the middle, but now it's completely closed. I used some embroidery floss with different colors, different shades of blue and one of purple. And also here between the legs there are no holes yet, but just with some dark blue yarn I reinforced, so they will not, I think they will not tear so soon. So yeah, that's that. And the other thing I wanted to show you is this table runner, which I found. I inherited quite a lot of these crocheted tablecloths from my grandmother and grandmother, who used to make them in the beginning of 20th century, so a long time ago, when you couldn't actually buy those pieces so easily. And this one is particular because this is hand stitched by my grandmother, and this is a linen yarn which they made themselves. So they grew linen plants, and it's a quite sturdy, and it's a beautiful. It has some natural different colors in it, and I find it quite lovely. So instead of keeping all these things in the boxes, I just decided to use them and just to admire those things, and not just to keep them in boxes and then pass them to my daughters, because I don't think they value these things enough. So okay, I'm back. I just went to pick up my coffee. So if you're interested what happened to me, stay with me. If not, see you next time. So I had a strong pain on my right side here of the belly for a couple of days, and at first it looks like indigestion, but then the pain grew stronger and stronger to the point that I couldn't sleep. It was waking me up, and I couldn't get up, or I had trouble getting up or changing position. And what actually helped me was showering with warm water or some heat pads. But then after 3 days, the pain grew stronger, and in the morning of Wednesday, February the 9th, I decided to go to my doctor, and then she said it was appendicitis. So if you know, appendix is on the right side. But for me, I thought it wasn't, because it was too high. You know, appendix is like here, a little bit lower. But anyway, then she said you have to go to the emergency, to the hospital, and they have all these diagnostic tools to see what happens inside. And yeah, when they ran some scans, and they said I had the colon inflammation and the so-called diverticulosis. No, diverticulitis. Diverticulosis is a condition when you have these outpouchings on the colon, and if you know, the large intestine on the colon goes like this. And these outpouchings happen with age, especially in the Western countries where the diet is poor in fiber and where we sit too much. So lack of exercise, poor diet, stress, and of course the genetic predisposition, I believe, as well, can lead to these thinner lining of the colon, and then it out pouches like this, like little balloons. So many people have that after the age of 50. I think in some countries almost 50%, but it doesn't cause you any problems unless it gets inflamed, and I got this inflammation, so they had to treat me with very strong antibiotics, and I had to lay down. And they said if it happens again, that they are going to operate me, and just take that part of the colon out. And I sincerely hope that will not happen. So I decided to eat differently. I am eating now nothing spicy, and I love spicy food. So no spicy food for me, no alcohol, no beer. I used to drink sometimes at the end of the day, especially on weekends, a couple of beers, you know. And living in Germany and not being able to drink beer, well, it's a sad thing, because Germany has excellent selection of beers, very good beers, and almost every city has its own beer, and they are almost all are really good. Of course, you have to keep it moderate. So no beers, no chips, no salty, no fatty foods, no spicy foods, more fiber. And in the hospital, I was not allowed to eat anything for the first 2 days or 3 days. They gave me just broth and tea, and now I can't stand broth when I see it. But then they gave me afterwards something very light, and but I wasn't hungry at all. So yeah, I have to pay attention now to my eating and drinking. And you know, next week there is a dinner organized in my office, and I'm not sure if there's a point of me attending that dinner, because I can't eat anything, you know. I'm lactose intolerant now. I suspect I'm also gluten intolerant. So without drinking anything but water, and of course I'm cheating a little bit now because I have my coffee, but without milk. It's oatmeal is inside. So from now on, I will really have to pay attention to my health. So, and it was quite a shock for me because I've never been sick before, and I've always only been to hospital once when I had my children. So having to stay in hospital for almost a week was such a setback for me. And now that war that began, it took takes me 30 years back when the war in Croatia started in 1991, and you know, all those bad images that I had in my brain of things that either happened to me or that I heard happened to my friends, or horrible things that I saw on TV. And I did not forget them, but I somehow pushed them back to the back of my mind. And now, with these horrors in Ukraine, what we see on TV every day, they just keep of these things that I saw and experienced just came to the surface again. So I haven't been feeling emotionally at all very well these days. I'm trying to knit, I'm trying to do something with my hands to stay creative, to make good use of my free time, but it's very difficult. So I'm not sure when I'm going to issue a new episode, because I think that on the projects that I'm working right now, I'm going to be quite slow, and who knows when I'm going to finish all those things. And I have a couple of works in progress. I have this Avena sweater. I have a pair of fingerless mittens that I wasn't able to knit because they are quite dark, and in the evening when I have time to knit, it's too dark for my eyes. I can't see that. I have this crochet patchwork for my daughter, and I have some one vest that I have to finish. I only have to do the yoke, and I think to make the ribbing on the sleeves, because it's without sleeves. So who knows when I'm going to do that. We live in difficult times, and I really hope that this conflict will not spread further. I'm very much afraid of the war, and you know, as I've been in one and experienced it, some things, you know, even after 30 years have passed since the war in Croatia, some things never back to normal. You know, of course, people who die or who remain badly injured, you can never make this good again. It's a loss that just remains a loss. But even the material damage, it stays, and the consequences are felt for many years afterwards. So I really hope that certain people will come to their senses and just stop it. So I'm sorry that I didn't end this in a more positive note. Hopefully when I will talk to the camera next time, we will be in a little bit better place than today. Thank you for watching, and stay well. Bye!